Sarah didn't fall apart when he missed her birthday. That was expected. What broke her was realizing he hadn't asked about her day in 3 months. That's when it hit her. She was done. Not in a dramatic, throw a wine glass way. Quietly, internally, she checked out. And if you're watching this thinking, oh God, that's me, you're not alone. Coaching countless couples has taught me it's not about dramatic events. It's about little moments when we feel unseen. So in this video, I'm going to show you why people emotionally disconnect, how it quietly happens, and how to reverse it before it's too late. I'm going to break down what's really happening when you feel numb in your relationship, when you're questioning your love, feeling miles apart from someone who's right beside you, and wondering if this ache, this deep ache, is normal. Because once you understand what's underneath all of this, the fog lifts and decisions, conversations, and healing finally become possible. You might think you've simply grown apart, but what if that coldness you're feeling isn't the end of love, but a buildup of unspoken hurt? That's exactly what we're going to explore together. What's really happening beneath the surface, so you can stop blaming yourself and finally understand the truth. Let me give you an example. A client of mine, Emma, she believed she'd fallen out of love. She felt numb, distant, and convinced herself she just didn't care anymore. But when she looked deeper, she realized she'd gone quiet because she was tired of feeling dismissed. Her love hadn't vanished. It was buried beneath layers of resentment and silence. If you're feeling disconnected or unsure whether you're still invested, know this. Those feelings aren't proof your love is over. They're signals pointing to something deeper, something you can name, face, and work with. This isn't about giving up. It's about waking up to what's really going on inside of you. If you consider that emotional coldness is often unspoken pain, let's talk about how even this tiniest slight, when left unacknowledged, can quietly erode connection, and how recognizing that can stop resentment before it turns into distance. You brush it off. He interrupted, forgot that detail, rolled his eyes. No big deal, right? But it feels big. And that feeling is worth listening to. You've likely learned to question your reactions, to label them as too sensitive. But the truth is, your feelings are never the problem. They are signals, not flaws. They're pointing you back to something deeper, a moment where connection slipped and your wisdom noticed. I'll help you see why these seemingly small moments affect you so deeply, and how they quietly chip away at your sense of mattering. Take Mary. She kept brushing off the fact that her partner ignored her texts all day, convincing herself it wasn't important. But when she dug deeper, she realized it wasn't about the texts at all. It was about feeling like she didn't matter enough to be prioritized. Well, that realization changed everything for her. And it can change everything for you too. Once you understand what your emotional self is actually responding to, you'll stop minimizing your pain and start clearly communicating your needs. Instead of ignoring or burying those feelings, you'll learn to use them as a guide, first for yourself and then with your partner. You'll recognize that these small moments are opportunities to build deeper intimacy rather than reasons to shrink or pull away. And by clearly expressing why certain behaviors hurt, you give your partner a chance to show up differently. Ultimately, you will create space for respect and presence and connection you've been yearning for. A relationship where your sensitivity is honored, not dismissed. Understanding why small moments hurt so much leads us to something deeper, the part of you that loves. And recognizing this can help you stop judging your reactions and start protecting what actually matters in your relationship. You keep wondering why you're so freaking sensitive in this relationship. Why one ignored text or some throwaway sarcastic comment completely derails your whole day. And then you're like, wait, why am I carrying over this? I just handled a full-blown crisis at work yesterday. Here's why. The part of you that loves isn't the spreadsheet managing, deadline crushing adult version of you. It's the younger, softer, slightly wide-eyed version that just wants to be held, wants to be heard, and maybe even offered a snack. That sensitivity, that's not a flaw. It's your heart doing exactly what it was built for. I have met and worked with many women who are brilliant at work, totally composed, until their partner forgot their inside joke and they spiraled for 2 days. That isn't being dramatic. That is your loving self feeling abandoned. When you realize that you are love and wired to feel deeply, you stop dismissing your reactions as too much and start honoring them as signals. This one shift can transform your relationships completely. Instead of shutting down or exploding, you learn to express what's really happening beneath the surface. A powerful way to do this is by softening your delivery. For example, saying something like, I know this might seem small, but it really matters to me. Or, I'm not upset, I just felt a little overlooked. Gently communicates your truth without triggering defensiveness. And when you do this consistently, something wild happens. Your needs don't have to shout to be heard. You become someone who can ask for love without guilt and give it without keeping score. That's how emotional safety grows. It doesn't grow in grand gestures, but in small, honest, awkwardly brave moments where you tell the truth with your heart still open. This is how emotional safety grows, one gentle, vulnerable, honest moment at a time. Once you understand how vulnerable the loving self really is, it makes sense that withdrawal isn't rejection, it's protection. And recognizing that can help you stop taking distance personally and start repairing connection before it breaks completely. You feel like you're drifting, emotionally checked out, or watching your partner fade behind silence and coldness. It's easy to assume this means they don't care, or even worse, that something's broken beyond repair. But what if that distance isn't rejection at all? What if it's not personal? Sometimes withdrawal is just the mind's way of settling down when things feel overwhelming. It's like an internal pause button, not to punish you, but to recalibrate. It's not always about you. It's just a human moment. Another client of mine, Jess, wasn't trying to punish her partner by shutting down. She simply didn't feel able to keep engaging. When you start seeing disconnection through this lens, you stop interpreting it as indifference and instead begin exploring what might be unspoken beneath the surface. So what do you do with that? You start small. Create low-pressure opportunities to check in. This doesn't need to be a heavy sit-down conversation. Often the most meaningful exchanges happen casually on a walk, over coffee, during a drive, simply saying something like, I've been thinking about us. How do you feel we're doing lately? This question invites openness without demanding vulnerability. That way, you're not demanding soul-bearing honesty. You're just quietly leaving the door cracked open. And when you feel yourself tempted to shut down, name it gently. A part of me wants to pull away right now, but I care too much to disappear. This kind of honesty is powerful and disarming. It shows your partner you're aware of your instinct to retreat, but you're choosing connection instead. These small, courageous shifts break the cycle of silence, and over time, they replace distance and tension with emotional safety, with love and presence, creating a relationship strong enough to handle even the most challenging moments. If withdrawal is the mind's way of finding calm, then connection grows when we offer space for honesty without judgment. Because without that feeling of safety and presence, even love can feel like it has nowhere to land. You're stuck in a cycle. Hurt leads to silence, silence leads to distance, and now you're not sure how to find your way back. You want connection. You want it like oxygen, but you're also terrified it'll come with eye rolls, a shutdown, or some passive-aggressive comment, like "I'm fine." The truth is, love isn't the glue people think it is. Without feelings of love and presence, love just kind of floats there awkwardly, like a helium balloon no one ever tied down. Consider my clients Rachel and Marcus. After months of feeling disconnected, it wasn't some grand romantic gesture that brought them back together. It was one quiet, honest moment when Rachel softly admitted, "I'm scared to say this, but I really need to feel close to you again." Marcus simply listened. No defensiveness, no quick fixes. He was just present. That quiet exchange became their turning point. It wasn't about having the perfect words. It was about creating the right feelings. So, how do you build love and presence without sounding like a TED Talk? It starts with how you open the conversation. Rather than jumping straight into a complaint or difficult topic, which can trigger defensiveness, try starting with permission-based openers. Like, "Can I share something that's been on my mind? Is now a good time to talk about something that's important to me?" These simple phrases set a tone of invitation rather than confrontation. They signal to your partner that you're approaching them with love and compassion, giving them good feelings to prepare and engage. When your partner says yes, keep your tone gentle and your words clear. It really isn't about a perfectly scripted conversation. It comes from your energy and how you're feeling. It says, "I'm here to get closer, not to win." And that one shift, that's what makes honesty possible. That's what makes connections stick. That subtle shift in energy changes everything, opening the door to real honesty and deeper connection. If any part of this hits home, if you felt yourself pulling away, doubting your feelings, or shrinking just to keep the peace, then you need to watch my next video, what you're too sensitive really means. Because the truth is, you're not broken. You've just been caught up in thoughts that aren't true, and they've temporarily pulled you away from your own power and your own wisdom. In that video, I'll show you how to recognize the subtle ways emotional invalidation shows up, how it chips away at your confidence without you even noticing, and how to finally start trusting that inner voice you've been trained to ignore. So if you're done second-guessing yourself every 5 minutes and you're ready to stand up, speak up, and stop feeling like the problem, go ahead, click, keep going, and know that you're perfect just the way that you are.